It feels like the good old times are coming back. Within a week, many altcoins appreciated by 30, 40, even 50%. But that appreciation comes from a very low base. From the high in October of last year to today, the altcoin market still, even after this rally, lost 48%. What we look at here, that's total 3 ES. It's the cryptocurrency market cap. So all of crypto, excluding Bitcoin, excluding Ethereum, and also excluding the stablecoins. So pretty much all the altcoins. Rallies like this bring attention, and they always beg the question, does it now make sense to buy into the altcoins? Have we finally ended this bear market? Can those kind of gains continue? Because there are two ways to look at this chart, right? One way is that this is just a blip and we crash back down. Another one is that if we just went back to the all-time high, the altcoins on average could almost double from here. So here's how I think about this. No matter if we buy into the altcoins or into Bitcoin or into artificial intelligence stocks, what really matters is opportunity cost, because the US dollar just holding fiat is no long-term alternative. So if we invest our capital, we just have to ask ourselves, does it make sense to buy altcoins over, say, Bitcoin? Because the two tend to move in similar directions at the same time, right? When Bitcoin goes up, then the altcoins tend to go up. When Bitcoin crashes, the altcoins tend to crash as well. There's actually a bit more correlation between Ethereum and the altcoins than between Bitcoin and the altcoins, but that's part for another video. Still, the question is it really worth it to buy into the risky altcoins over something like Bitcoin? Now this here is a longer term chart. This is total 3 ES, so the altcoin market, relative to the Bitcoin market cap. That peaked already in September of 2021. So that's now 5 years ago almost. And the altcoin market underperformed Bitcoin by 67%. And even with this rally, the relative valuation is not that impressive. Yes, maybe the alts outperformed a little bit, but it's not really noteworthy in the grand scheme of things. We might have just held Bitcoin and performed very similarly. Really, Bitcoin performed like the altcoins. What outperformed was Ethereum. This is now a shorter time frame. It looks at the last week. How did the altcoins do relative to ETH? And they actually crashed. Who would have thought that? Why did the altcoins underperform relative to Ethereum? This looks very different. Well, it's just the numbers, right? This is Ethereum's dominance. So how much of all of crypto is in ETH over the last 3 months? Here is the same chart zoomed out a little bit. So that's our recent rally. And this is the last 9 years. And Ethereum just got sold off over the last year and finally broke out of this bearish trend. And there is a good chance that Ethereum continues to outperform. Its long-term dominance, so its share of all of crypto, is at 14.7%. And currently we are at 11.5%. Now if Ethereum performs well, this will also lift the altcoins to a degree. Just have a look at the top performer in the last week. It was Ethena, so a crypto DeFi project that's extremely tightly coupled with Ethereum. Ethereum is synonymous with decentralized finance, and maybe the regulatory changes we've recently seen, the announcement and the crypto summit, they push decentralized finance more than the rest, and maybe that's one of the catalysts why Ethereum is doing better. Now let's have a look at the DeFi stats. Does it make sense to now get into decentralized finance protocols like Ethena? What you've got over here, that's the long-term TVL, the total value locked, the capital, that's on all blockchains in decentralized finance. We had something called the DeFi summer in 2021. So a lot of money was flowing into decentralized finance with the promise that DeFi will replace the traditional banking system. Then came the big crash. A lot of Ponzi schemes, a lot of implosions, a lot of hacks. Terra Luna imploded. FTX went bankrupt. It caused a bear market that lasted until October of 2023. Then came Memecoin trading, which then, interestingly enough, ran out of steam at a very similar TVL to the peak of DeFi summer. And now things are turning around. Now this is for all blockchains. Ethereum has 56% of all of decentralized finance across all blockchains. So the Ethereum chart looks quite similar. Again, the two tops tend to almost perfectly align. And now this is going up again. Now there's something interesting here. When we look at the TVL, the total value locked on Ethereum, not measured in US dollars, but measured in Ethereum, then something non-intuitive is happening, because before, during rallies, we tended to see the TVL measured in ETH also going up, as in we saw real capital inflows. Now the TVL is only going up because the price of Ethereum is going up. The TVL actually went down in the last few days. So this is not yet deposits into the ecosystem. This is not people deploying their Ethereum into decentralized finance protocols. This is just the Ethereum price itself going up and pushing up some related projects that have a bit more beta, a bit more risk. So here's what I think about this situation. What we've got at the top, that's the stablecoin market cap relative to the US money supply. What we've got at the bottom, that's the market cap of the altcoins. When we see outflows, so people are not moving their hard-earned fiat currency into the crypto ecosystem, then the altcoins tend to go down. When we have inflows into the ecosystem, and the altcoins tend to go up. The market cap tends to go up. Now there's a levered effect here, because the stablecoin market cap went up by 136%, while the altcoin market cap went up by 350%. So $1 into crypto increases the market cap by more than $1. Now, unfortunately, the system also works the other way around. When there is no inflows or even outflows, then the altcoins tend to go down in price. Now this here is the recent rally. And I've got two problems with this chart. First of all, I'm not so certain if the bear market is already over, if we really don't see any inflows anymore. But secondly, the rally we have seen recently in the prices in the altcoin market, this over here, this seems to overshoot very much the potential slight inflows we have just gotten. In other words, we are out of balance. The altcoins are extremely expensive relative to the stablecoin capital flows. Now, if it's not your first time watching this channel, then you know that I have been shorting the altcoins. And this is my track record. And surprise, surprise, even though the altcoins rallied in the last week, our performance continues to climb. And why is that? It's because we do relative valuations. So I just closed this short over here, Stellar XLM versus Bitcoin. And the reason why we don't get wrecked during rallies like this is because we hedge. So we bet on a falling altcoin price, but then also on a rising Bitcoin price at the same time. So fundamentally, we are betting on the ratio, and we make money with that ratio. If we didn't have the hedge, then this recent rally would have crushed us, and the gains would have been much more modest. By hedging versus Bitcoin, a rally like this, of course, is not great, but it's not catastrophic. And so that's why I like to make those longer form videos over just the shorts. If you just follow the shorts and you hear me saying, I'm not bullish on Stellar, I bet on falling prices of Stellar, you might do the same and you might get wrecked. But if you take your time to watch the full length video, you know that I do this relative to Bitcoin. And then it's important to figure out, how do we set up those relative valuation positions? How do we do the proper risk management? How do we take care of funding fees, etc.? Consistent performance like this in a volatile market only comes with proper risk management as well. And so when I say things like the altcoin market is expensive relative to the inflows, I don't necessarily mean that prices have to now come crashing down. But what I do mean is that potentially we might find some good entry opportunities to bet on falling altcoins relative to Bitcoin and Ethereum. And it's that relative valuation that makes the constant gains. So if you're interested in learning more about that approach, feel free to check out Premium. There's plenty of tutorial videos where I explain my trades. You can also copy trade whatever I do. And there's now also Bitcoin Strategy Autopilot. It has just been launched last month. There are various trading strategies that are 100% automatic. You can simply deposit into those strategies and then grow your capital along the way. You don't have to be subscribed for Premium the entire time you are invested. You just need to be subscribed at the point of deposit. If it's your first time here, feel free to subscribe. I publish this regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. Helps the channel grow. See you next time on YouTube, or see you in Premium. Link to Premium pops up here on the screen as well. See you next time. Cheers.